Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Gear Over Beer. I am your host, Noah McCormick, and we have a great episode here for you today. On this episode, Stanley Fryman of Echo is going to call in. We're going to talk about their new EP release. It's called Floriculture, and in my personal opinion, I think it's one of the best releases this year. We're also going to discuss Stan's love for Dr. Pepper, the Despicable Me minions, and their Fender Telecaster Deluxe. We're also going to reminisce on the first time we met at a gig, and Stanley lost a bet and had to be actually tased after their set. Stick around after the interview and we're going to watch that video of Stan being tased. You can follow Echo at Echo is a Band on all social media, and make sure you go and listen to them on the streaming platform of your choosing. Now with that, let's get into the interview. Cue the music. All right. This is episode number 3 after almost a year to the day of taking a break from Gear Over Beer. Quarantine has brought out the best of boredom and decided to bring back this podcast. So back with episode 3 after a year-long break almost. We're back with the one, the only Stanley Fryman of just about every good Indianapolis band. Let's see. We've got Echo. That's what my cat just jumped up on my lap, so that might happen periodically throughout the podcast. But so what we have: Echo, Plans, Summer Brews, and then as of the past couple months before quarantine hit, you've also been playing with me and Justin and Honey Be Well. So you're a busy person, to say the least. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I love playing music and I love getting my hands on everything. I love that. That's what, like, you're a staple of the Indianapolis scene. So that's what you are. You're royalty. So thank you. So how's quarantine been? I know we kind of talked before we started recording, but how's that been for you? Like you said, the first bit of quarantine was like really tough, like not seeing anybody. But then I realized that like Zoom meetings and FaceTimes are like an option, and you can just talk to your homies. And then I picked up Fortnite. And, hell yeah. I've been playing a lot of video games. I unlocked my favorite character in Smash. Little Mac is the best character, by the way. Okay. And see, that's why I haven't gotten Smash for the Switch yet. I've been wanting to get Smash for the Switch. I still have it for GameCube. I was never good at Smash, but I was like, if there's ever a time to get good, it's got to be during quarantine. Yeah, it's real fun. There are millions of people who are way better than me at the game, but I've just been grinding, just trying to get a little bit better. That's awesome. So that's what kind of a cool story about the Switch. We both have very interesting stories on how we got ours. Yeah. So the boys from Plans, right? Yeah, it was Seabass. Sebastian, yep. My drummer. He organized a crowd fund because I had gone through a really rough period of time. And he got everyone in like my friend groups and DIY to like send a couple bucks his way. And they bought me a Switch with all of the money and like a new interface because my interface had been broken for the better part of a year. And like, I never felt so much love than when people were like, "Oh yeah, Stan needs money. Here you go." They had to start turning people away. I'm telling you, so that was your story with getting the Switch, and then I was so bored during quarantine that I decided to drive. I searched the closest place that had a Switch in stock was, I think, Lancaster, Ohio, which was a 3.5 hour drive there, 3.5 hour drive back. And I did it, and it was absolutely worth it. My Animal Crossing town has been absolutely bitching. I've got a wrestling ring with like with like an entrance way and like seats all around. It's pretty sweet. I'm pretty proud of it. Are you into Animal Crossing, or have you just been doing like Fortnite stuff? It's been Fortnite mostly. Like, I started the season at level 1, and now I'm level 195. But
Animal Crossing is one of those things where like I want a physical copy of it if I'm gonna play it, and nowhere has physicals ever.
Yeah, no. That's what I had to buy mine online, but I think the Target near me, I went there the other day and they finally had like 3 copies in, but they said that they've been selling out extremely fast.
Yeah. Speaking of selling out, I have looked for the Kroger brand shells and cheese yesterday when I went to the store. I wore a mask, of course. Everybody wear a mask when you go out. Course. And they were out of every kind of the shells and cheese. And I'm like, I just want some macaroni.
See, that's what before like the before like quarantine and all that hit, I went to of course you can see Sansa right here. She's coming in through the green screen. I love that. She's just looking out my window staring on my keyboard. So but no, I went to my local Kroger and I bought like 20 boxes of mac and cheese.
Smart.
And because they had a sale where they're $1 a box. So I was like,
oh wow.
I mean, it's not like I'm not going to eat it. Like if I have to sit on it for a while. And so I think I'm down to like my final box or 2 now at this point. So
damn, you mean that lasted more than 5 days?
Yeah. That's what it's weird. Mac and cheese is one of those things where I like can only eat it for so long. Like if I can eat it like once every other day, and then I'm like, okay, do you put anything in your mac and cheese? Like I do Parmesan cheese on top of my mac and cheese, and I get ridiculed for that.
That sounds delicious. I love parm. I put bacon bits.
Really?
Yeah, just the little like soy bacon flavored bits.
Okay.
I just dump those in, and usually like some hot sauce of some sort. Like right now, I've got this jalapeno hot sauce, and it rocks.
That's awesome. Okay, so I guess to bring up the reason why you're here today is you just put out as Echo your first EP, Floriculture. How does it feel to finally get that out?
It feels so good. I recorded the EP in like around this time last year, and then I got masters back in late September 2019, and I was like, I don't know when the right time to release this is, so I put out a single on Halloween of last year, and then I was like, all right, quarantine's hitting, everyone's home, everyone's listening to music more than ever, I might as well just put it out. So I set that all up, and I had 1,000 streams in 12 hours, which like changed my mind on my music being something that people care about.
Absolutely. No, so I'm very curious. So I heard I'm sure you know that I've heard it, but I heard the EP from Cam, who plays drums for Echo and also plays drums for Honey Be Well, because we were just driving around one day, and he had showed me the EP, and obviously I was blown away. But what blew me away even more is you tracked everything for that EP, correct?
Yeah, every single noise that you hear was made by me.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Like everything, drums, bass, guitar, everything.
Yeah, even the fake piano.
Really? Yeah. I love that. How hard was that to do? I mean, you play drums in you play drums in Summer Brews and you play guitar and, your other projects, but.
Yeah, it's like, it's challenging, but I really like the challenge of it because a little backstory is I heard the album Southern Weather by the Almost, which Aaron Gillespie did like 99% of that album by himself, like drums, guitar, bass, all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I want to do that. And then for the longest time, I couldn't find bandmates to like play these songs that I'd written. So I was like, all right, first EP, I'm going to record everything. And then I'm just going to find some homies to play it live. And then the next songs will be a more collaborative effort. But it was real fun. Like, I don't know. I really like playing drums. So that's, of course, the first thing to lay down. And one of the songs, like, it just wasn't lining up properly with me listening to the demo. So I said, fuck it, just give me the click. And so I played the song front to back, just click, and it rocked.
I love that. So what's Floriculture? Very interesting title. What's kind of the story behind that?
Floriculture is like the study of flowers, and I say the word Floriculture in the song If You're Listening, which
Mm-hmm.
is like the single from the EP. I don't know. That song is really like deep and introspective, but that word was brought up because for Valentine's Day one year, I got this girl 12 roses, and she was telling me all about why roses are like associated with Valentine's Day. And so I was like, oh, fucking dork.
You're a romantic motherfucker. That's what you are. See, that's what my girlfriend Sophie, she hates flowers. Like, we walk into Kroger and the first section is the flower section. She has to hold her breath when we walk in. So it's great.
Wow.
I don't have to buy flowers for Valentine's Day, or like if I want to be cute, it's not going to get flowers. It's going to get a bottle of wine, which is
equally as good.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I guess. Also, what's the reasoning behind the name of Echo instead of going by, I mean, your name or anything else?
I don't know really. Like, there was this song by the Hush Sound, which is a band from Chicago. They didn't really blow up, but they were homies with like Fall Out Boy, The Academy Is, and all of those like Chicago bands. Mm-hmm. And they had a song called Echo, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like that word. And then I was just like, yeah, frick it. I'm going to use that as my band.
Hell yeah. That's what kind of going back into talking about, the single, If You're Listening. I think there's a lyric in there, I will be okay, different, but okay. Which like has always stood out to me, and I think is a really powerful lyric. And I think that you've been very open with your struggle with mental health, which I think is important as an artist to like show that it's okay to not be okay, kind of a thing.
Right.
And I think you've tackled that very well in this EP. And as a friend, it's made me very proud of you.
Thanks. I love you.
Yeah, no, I was trying to describe this EP to someone earlier, and I kind of said it was like, it has a little something. It's only a 4-song EP, but it has something for everyone. There's that mix of emo mixed with, you get kind of heavy with some metalcore style vocals in there, which had me almost shit my pants in the car when I listened to it for the first time. And then there's also that mix of like 2000s, like 10s scene kind of, mixed with like A Day to Remember, with like hints of like, like the Ready Set style, like 2010 scene stuff.
Right.
And
basically I'm an Attack cover band.
Yeah, no, like it draws from everything. So I guess so what are some of your biggest inspirations then?
I would say when I was tracking the EP, I was mostly listening to Motion City Soundtrack, which you can hear all over it, especially the song I'm No Danny Zuko. There's a guitar solo. I'm like, yeah, Justin Pierre would literally write exactly this, but a million times better. Dashboard Confessional, Owl City is a big one for me, which is why I chose to use auto-tune in one of the songs.
I was going to ask you about that. That's what I will be the first person to point out how my dislike for auto-tune, but I think the way that you used it in this EP was so sparingly and perfect. Like it usually in my opinion, usually auto-tune will take away from a song. But this like complemented it so nicely.
Well, I'm glad you think so.
So what was kind of the choice behind using auto-tune then?
Well, actually, it started with me not being able to lay down the vocals when I was demoing out the song back in 2018. I was like, man, I'm sick. I want this like to have vocals on it today, but I just cannot sing. So I was like, fuck it, pitch correction, 100%. And then I was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. I like it. And then I decided to keep it even when I wasn't sick. And then I lay down vocals again. And then the EP, I was like, yeah, I want to keep that effect with it because I don't know. It just makes me feel like Boys Like Girls in a way. And I'm like,
that's what like it just draws from all those different inspirations. I thought it was, I kind of added like this fun aspect to it with a serious manner to it at the same time.
Right. Because I'm a person who loves production and like I can appreciate auto-tune for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what there's only a couple, like obviously everyone, when you think of most people, when you think of auto-tune, you think of like T-Pain. Like did you ever have the T-Pain app? Like in like
no.
Dude, I had that in, I think it was middle school. It was like you just like talked into it and it spit it back out as auto-tuned. And I remember
I'm going to download that right after this.
Yeah, no, dude, I remember it was funny, like, because you could do a backing track like from your iTunes library.
Oh,
And
man.
I was like, let's see what it would sound like if I did Fireflies by Owl City, because that was so big at that time. Auto-tuned, like with my voice. And it did like this one part where it like did the octave perfectly, like, and I like shit my pants. I'm like, this is my favorite app I've ever used. And
Wow.
yeah, I don't even know if it's still in the App Store, but at the time it was like the coolest thing I had ever used.
I'm going to jailbreak my phone just so I can get the app.
I would be so proud of you if you did.
Thank you.
So kind of, gear over beer. That's what I don't even have any beer because it's been like I decided yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start that back up. And I texted you. I said, hey, you want to come on tomorrow and do this? And you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Why not? And so I haven't left my house since. So I'm like, yeah, we'll get around to the beer eventually. But I know you're a big Dr. Pepper person.
It's funny you mentioned that.
There's the crispiness. I like it. So what is I've always been a Sprite guy. Has Dr. Pepper always been your drink of choice?
I grew up loving Dr. Pepper. Okay. So yeah. It's just, it hits different. It's 23 unique and original flavors all in one can.
I like how they have You Deserve This by the Lips part of the can now. I just noticed that the other day for the first time. And I was like, I bet you know what? Stan, every time they look at that can, they're like, you know what? I do deserve this.
Exactly.
That's what I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. But I was just describing, I think I was showing one of my coworkers the new EP, and I was describing you, and I was like, the two things you need to know about Stan is that they like Dr. Pepper, and they love the Despicable Me minions, and that's all you need to know. So what's the lore? What's the backstory behind your obsession with the minions? Like, where did that start? How did it escalate?
Well, it started, I found this Minions hat at a Goodwill for $1, and it says, oops, with an exclamation point. But the O's are Minion eyes. And I was like, that's funny. I'm going to buy it. I have $1 right now. And so I wore that hat on a tour with plans. And one day on tour, I was like, into the mic, yo, give it the fuck up for Minions. And people
everyone went nuts.
It was funny as hell. And then I'm like, I just kept going at it, and eventually I was like, I fucking love Minions. And then I watched the Minions movie from 2015. Yeah. And it was the first movie I unironically cried to in years.
Okay.
I was like, this really hit home. I don't know why, but it did.
That's what, we'll get back into Minions, but I just watched Inside Out, the Pixar movie, for the first time yesterday with Sophie. And dude, that blew my mind, and I started to get a little teary-eyed at a couple different points. Like,
Bing Bong, rest in power.
Dude, Bing Bong, rest in power. Absolutely. Get that tattooed across my chest. That's what so there's Bing Bong, but what was the Sadness is played by Phyllis from The Office.
Yeah.
And I think she just did such a good job, like when she's like being dragged and just touching all the memories and making everything sad. Like that was a great. Have you heard all the conspiracies about that movie? About
I have not. I just watched it.
So that's what the main character. There's a conspiracy that she's. She's 11, but that she's bisexual. Because if you notice in the mom, all of her, what are they called? Feelings and emotions. Sophie is right here if you want to say hi.
Hi, Sophie.
Hey.
So all the emotions are all female, and on the dad's side, in his head, all the emotions are all male. And in the Riley, the main character's head, they're both male and female.
Whoa.
And she wears like a rainbow sweater in like the first scene.
Oh yeah, she's gay.
Oh yeah. Long live the gays.
Disney
Amen.
Is woke.
Disney is woke. Absolutely.
It's about time.
Well, that's what there's supposed to be another Minions movie, is there not? And that's what we said that we're going to go on a date and go see it.
Yeah, July 3rd, but I don't know
3rd?
if
Oof.
we're allowed to go on a date. But if they do, like, you know how with the Trolls movie they did like an online. If they do that, we're gonna Zoom call and watch Minions together.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, that would be the
romantic.
biggest. Oh, that would be a very romantic date. We'll hold hands through the Zoom call.
Kiss me through the Zoom.
Kiss me through the Zoom. The hit single from Soulja Boy, Tell 'Em.
God.
So getting into the gear aspect of this podcast, do you want to do a little rig rundown of what your normal?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right, so I'll start from guitar and go into amp. So guitars, I'm either playing a Fender Telecaster Deluxe, but it has a Fender Telecaster Standard neck on it because I broke the headstock of the Deluxe.
You're not afraid. I was watching a video the other day from, was it Snowcella? You are just not afraid to just toss your guitar, and I love that. Oh my God, I like
that thing.
You really do, and like, don't get me wrong, like, I get emotional with my songs, but never to that level where I'm just like, and chuck it. Like, I love, like, I watched that video like 10 times of that ending just to watch you throw that guitar. But no, continue with so the Telecaster Deluxe.
Yeah, and I put a Gibson Dirty Fingers in the bridge pickup because I'm a Tom DeLonge whore.
Dude, Tom DeLonge tones for days. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what, it's funny. So I had the Tom DeLonge signature ES333 Epiphone for a while, but I'm a small guy, and so big hollow bodies are like, they just make me look even smaller.
Right.
Then I had a custom Jazzmaster built for me by this guy in Martinsville, Indiana. He is Mike Rodenbeck is his name. He builds Rodenbeck guitars. They're all custom, handmade out of his garage, believe it or not.
Whoa.
And so I had him build me a thin line Jazzmaster, shell pink, relict, matching shell pink headstock, just a single Gibson Dirty Fingers in the bridge, and a single volume knob with a push-pull for a single coil tap.
What else do you need, honestly?
It's such a great guitar, but ever since I've been started playing my Reverends, that's what I just find it hard to go back to anything else. Yeah, but no, absolutely. So you were a big Blink fan then?
Oh yeah.
Growing up. Okay.
Not growing up actually. I didn't discover Blink's Untitled, Self-Titled, whatever you want to call it, until 2014.
Okay.
Nobody told me about it.
See, that's what I listened to it as a kid, but rediscovered it in high school, my sophomore, junior year, and absolutely fell in love with them all over again. And they absolutely the self-titled album is by far my favorite record of all time, and I don't think anything will ever touch it, just because of the significance that it had on me to want to be a musician. I don't think anything can top that for me.
It's good.
Did you ever get into Boxcar Racer or Plus 44 or Angels and Airwaves?
Angels and Airwaves a little bit. Never Plus 44, but Boxcar definitely.
Boxcar, big Boxcar guy, and I was always more into Angels and Airwaves than the other two side projects. That's what I actually just saw Angels and Airwaves twice on this past tour when they after like 7 years, and for my birthday, because I bought them for myself for my birthday. For my last birthday, I got the VIP meet and greet, so I got to meet Tom, and like I just like froze. I was like, your music is my everything. I know this is gonna sound weird. Can you say my band sucks? Like, and he's like, unfortunately, like they're not letting you do videos like with us, but I'll tell you your band sucks right now. I was like, cool, thanks. And I was like, cool. So Tom DeLonge thinks Honey Be Well sucks, and he hasn't even heard us. I love it. That's all I needed to hear.
Life's complete.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the telly, and then what's after that?
And then I'm running into my pedal board, which consists of the Ernie Ball Volume Junior.
And then got the same one on my board. It's great.
It rocks. The Boss TU3 tuner. It's got that extra light option, so it can be super bright.
See, that's what I've gotten into this argument before on this podcast, because Max from Tell the Wall is dead set on the TU2 or the TU3, I can't remember, and I'm dead set on the Polytune. And
Polytune rocks. I definitely love both tuners so much.
Yeah, that's what I used to have the TU2, and then I eventually went over to the Polytune, and it's just lasted me so long. I've had it for like 3 years now, and it's like still like flawless. Like it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with it. I love it.
That rocks.
Okay, after a tuner.
Like my tuner is side off, so my tuner is always on, and I just volume down when I want to tune, and then into the TC Electronics Summon Up October, if I want to get real spicy and like emulate a Pog without spending $200.
Absolutely.
Into the Full Tone OCD, which is my favorite drive pedal ever.
So I've got the same one. I use it as a clean boost. So that's what I use. My I've got the JHS double barrel, which has like the Morning Glory on one side, which is like a really nice transparent overdrive, and then the Tube Screamer clone on the other side if I need to go into a lead. But I don't get quite as much oomph out of the Morning Glory side, so I'll have at all times the Morning Glory and the Full Tone OCD. But I just use it as a clean boost, so I have the gain all the way down but the volume up, and it's been perfect for that.
It's such a good pedal, really versatile.
Absolutely.
And then after that, I have a second drive, which is the MXR Super Badass Distortion.
Nice.
It's got a 3-band EQ on it, which I really like in a pedal. Like I can really just beef up, because I use that as like my rhythm stuff. Yeah. And I just have the low end coming in real clear.
Yeah.
And then into that, I have the TC Spark Mini, which I use as my clean boost. And like when I'm playing guitar solos, which there's one in the Echo set and one in the Plan set, I'll kick that bad boy on just to make myself noticed a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going into the Boss Super Chorus.
Okay.
Which is just a great pedal. I love it so much.
That's what I found so I have I don't play out of it very much anymore, but when we play live, but the Roland JC 120, which I found is the best course, and it naturally comes out of the amp, but that the Boss is the closest to that, because Boss is owned by Roland. Or Roland is owned by Boss, one of the either way around. But yeah, no, that's a great course pedal for sure.
It's super clean, just real fun. I have it like maxed out, so it's just like a really powerful chorus. And then after that, I have my delay pedal, which is the Line 6 DL4, which I will swear by as the best delay modeler in the history of delay.
Yeah, I've heard so much good stuff, and I just have never, like, obviously, like when you think of Line 6, you think of like a Line 6 Spider, but that's not the case when it comes to this. But I've just never been able to get my hands on one, and like sit down and like play with one. But I've only heard good things. I know a lot of people who play that.
Yeah, it like, I don't know. It's just it's one of the most versatile pedals I've ever experienced, and the only thing that really tops it is like a Strymon delay, and I'm not about to spend $500 on one.
No, I believe that. That's what it blows my mind when people have like 2 or 3 Strymon pedals. I'm like, dude, don't get me wrong. I love reverb, I love delay, but I just have the Holy Grail, and like it's a $60 or $70 pedal. and I just have it on the hall setting at noon, and it does everything I need it to. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
After the delay, I have my noise suppressor, which is the ISP Decimator 2. Okay. I have that just cutting out any of my real rough stuff. Like, it's not super high up, just like if I'm super fuzzy. But all of my grounding issues in the Telly are pretty good. And then after that, like very, very last in my chain before amp is right now it's the TC Electronics Sky Surfer reverb, which it's like it's an okay reverb. It does the job for sure. But
those are like those entry level, really affordable pedals that TC Electronic put out like 3 or 4 years ago. Because I remember, because I still have the Prophet digital delay out of that same series, and they're only like $50, and I can get Angels and Airwaves tones for days with that pedal, and that's why I use it like on Updog when I have to go into that real delay part. But in terms of like an affordable delay pedal, I point people in that direction all the time, just because you can get so specific. With like the what's the Boss digital, the DD3, that's like the #1 seller, which is great for like a calculator. You can get it to just about everything, but just like in terms of that the Prophet, that thing is
just plug and chug, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the Sky Surfer is exactly the same. It's like, well, probably the best entry level reverb pedal. But I recently lost an eBay bid to get a Holy Grail Max, and I was like,
nice.
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep my search going.
That's what. So I've got the regular Holy Grail. And I've been
gotta look.
Yeah, I have the whole regular Holy Grail, and I've been thinking about selling that to. I can't remember who put it out, but someone just put out. It's called the Oceans 11 or Oceans 12 reverb.
Ooh.
And it has like a reverse setting on it, if I'm not mistaken. I've been kind of wanting to mess around that for some Honeybee Well stuff.
That sounds fun.
Just for like some in between tuning stuff, because like it's for in between tunings right now. If I have to do a guitar change, I've just been doing. I've got the Boss loop pedal, but it has built. My cat just sneezed 3 times.
The loop station, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's what it's like. The RC3 maybe, or something like that, and that's why I can store loops in there. And I just do a bunch of meme stuff. Like I've got like the Wii Sports theme, just stuff like that, just to keep the crowd entertained while I'm going to grab a guitar.
It rocks.
I think it worked the best at a gig that the last gig that we played, which is when it was us, Honeybee Well, with the Happy Fits at the Hoosier Dome. And that was one of the weirdest crowds I'd ever played to, because
Normie Central,
because that whole crowd lined up before the show started, which like at the Dome doesn't happen unless like Knuckle Puck is coming through town.
Right.
And
it was
like, this is
crazy.
It was just a regular Sunday night, and we were the only opening act. So we were like, what is going on? But that crowd was so responsive. Like, we walked up on stage and they were cheering already. I was like, is this what it's like to like be in a regular band? This is nuts, dude. Like,
it was sick.
So is that in terms of the rest of your pedals, or are you running anything else?
Yeah, I just recently took off my wah pedal because I don't really fuck with wah anymore. But that's it for pedals, and I'm running that into the Fender Twin Reverb 65 reissue, which is Mike from Summer Brews / Plans' amp. It was his dad's, and now it's his. But he's letting me graciously use it, and that thing is just the best clean slate amp I've ever played.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love Mike. I'd love to I think Mike I've got a list going of who I all want to be on the podcast, and Mike is pretty high on the list. So that's why I need to text him the next couple of days to get him on here.
I guarantee he would love to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, that's what I used to run a twin reverb and a Vox AC30. And when I started working at Diamond Amplification, I went to our tech, Chris. I was like, hey, this is what I'm running right now. I don't want to have to lug all that around. What do you, but I love the tones. And so he pointed me in the way of the Diamond Assassin, which is a lunchbox head. But I can get, the twin reverb clean tones and the, overdrive tones from the AC30 that I like. So it was kind of a blend of both worlds. And the whole reason why I did the twin and the AC30 is because Tom did that in the 2010s, during that whole Neighborhoods era, which I think in terms of tone was one of my favorites for him.
Yeah, it was good. I'll never forget the first time I watched that live in Vegas, 2013 or something.
It's funny. In my freshman year of college, my buddies would go out and drink and hey, we're going out to a party tonight. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to stay in and play along to this, the Live in Las Vegas video. And I would just, I learned all the songs. I would just play along with it. Even all the little random fill-ins that he would do, I had learned it all. And
amazing.
If that doesn't describe my first semester of college, then I don't know what else does.
My first semester of college, I went to community college, and all I did was eat sour Skittles in class.
That sounds amazing. I wish that was my college experience.
If only.
But you also have an SG that you use from time to time, right?
Yeah. It's super on the back burner just because
the telly.
I'm scared about
the telly.
Yeah. There's nothing better than my telly, which I paid $200 for that guitar because they mismarked it as a Squire on the Guitar Center website.
That is insane.
I saw the picture and I was like, that's not a Squire. Add to cart.
I love that.
It was so sick. But I have the Epiphone 1966 reissue SG in an Alpine white, and it shreds. Oh, it's a good guitar.
Absolutely.
It's got that coil tap, so I can get those sweet single coils going in the bridge, and then have a creamy lead in the neck.
Yeah. Do you find yourself using different gear for different, if you're playing with Echo, if you're playing with plans, or is it pretty straight across, or in terms of style of playing as well?
The same board and amp for both bands, and I use the telly for both pretty much exclusively right now. But I'm playing lead guitar in plans, and I'm playing rhythm guitar in Echo, and I raise my guitar up when I'm playing Echo just so I can strum easier, because I'm playing a lot of church chords, a lot of open strings with my fretting hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And other than that, there's not a huge difference in my playing. I play the same gauge strings for electric and acoustic because I'm a masochist.
You use pretty stupid thick strings. Am I not right?
Yeah, you are correct. I use 13 to 56 with a wound G string.
Stan?
Yeah.
Why?
Like I said, I'm a masochist. I like fighting my guitar to get those just to
and
get the notes out.
You still break strings. You still break strings all the time.
Yup. Probably once every 3 or 4 shows, I'll still break a string.
Sometimes you stress me out in that aspect. Who breaks that thick of a string? I usually don't go. I mean, I've been using the coated power slinkies for the past year or so now, and I can't even break one of those guys. And you're out here breaking 13s.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, plans is in drop C sharp, so there's a lot of tension going there.
Okay.
And then Echo.
I always assumed you guys were in. I always assumed you guys were in drop D, but no. Okay, that makes sense.
Drop C sharp, baby. Get those emo tones going.
That is emo tone, dude. Justin's been trying to convince us to do more drop tuning stuff like that, and so there'll definitely be more of that on this next record.
I can't wait to play it.
Exactly. That's what I've been messing around with FAC GCE, the iconic American football tuning, but half step down, so it's got a little bit more low end to it.
Yeah,
and that's
the Bogues tuning.
Is that what Bogues uses?
One of them. In like, I think the song "Drunk Again," he uses that, and then he uses D A C sharp E.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we use that quite a bit too.
Down a half step.
Yeah, dude, that's what we've played a couple. I think we played 3 shows with Bogues, and dude, AJ blows me away every time. Every time he plays, so it's good. Like it's never hit or miss. It's always there. Because he goes from this, hey, how's it going, to this like drenched in emotion guy when he plays.
Exactly.
And, dude, you've like, been on tour with Bogues, haven't you? Plans to?
Yeah, I've done 2 tours with Bogues now. Once with Plans, once with Summer Brews. And AJ is just the best guy to have around. He's always just real chipper, no matter the mood of the day.
Yeah, he played our album release show for our first album. And dude, AJ is just the biggest sweetheart. Now that I'm thinking about it, the first time I ever met you was when we played in Fort Wayne together. It was
on that tour.
Yeah. And you got, if I'm not mistaken, you got tased that night.
I did get tased that night.
That's what, because the venue owner, or she was running it at least, I don't know what happened, but she said, "Don't fuck around or I'll tase you." And she pulled out a taser, and you're like, "Tase me, I dare you." And she did it.
Yeah, it was not good. I actually lost it was what are the odds that I'll get tased because of AJ. And I lost, and I was like, "All right, will you tase me?" She's like, "Yeah, go ahead, sit down, otherwise you'll fall over." So I sat down, and she tased me, and it was one of the worst things I've ever felt.
I am going to put that clip at the end of this podcast so people viewing can watch that.
Oh,
because that was so iconic. Oh, God. I completely forgot about that.
I'm going to retweet it today just to get some extra clout.
Talk about the best first impression ever. Just watching someone get tased.
And now here we are playing in a band together.
Exactly. Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
So this is something I'm always curious. What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was an Epiphone Les Paul Studio.
Okay, so you started off pretty nice.
Yeah, it was like just I saved money, and my freshman year of high school, I was like, I want this one. So I went and bought it. Didn't have a case for the first 2 years. So I just kept it at home other than like traveling to shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, here we go. I didn't have pedals. I just ran into this like custom amp with a K, not like I had someone build me one. Yeah.
No, I got what you were saying.
Yeah, this amp with like a digital distortion channel, and it sounded like garbage, but I was having fun.
That's awesome. That's what the first guitar I ever owned wasn't a Gibson, wasn't an Epiphone. It was a Maestro. Ooh. Which is like, you know what I'm talking about, the Maestros?
The entry level boys,
yeah. Yeah, I had a Maestro acoustic, which they had the Gibson headstock though. But they were very weird guitars. But yeah, no, I painted that. I painted it. I got that thing in like middle school, but never really played it. And then when I started playing guitar in high school, like I started off that for like 6-7 months and then eventually moved on to something else. But it's always fun to hear what people started on, and then just to hear how people have evolved their gear or evolved their tone and whatnot. So,
God, I love music.
It's so fun. Speaking of music, this is a game that we normally play, or we have played in the past on this podcast. So I decided to bring it back. So it's called Only One Can Survive. So I'm going to give you 3 albums, and only one of them can survive, and the other 2 will cease to exist from history.
Okay, so let's go.
I had to do a little bit of research because I like to, figure out what it might, because if I just name off 3 albums that you don't really care about, that's no fun. So I did some searching through your social media and just from me knowing you to figure out what would be kind of spicy to pick out for these.
I'm excited.
So album number 1, Sparks Fly by Miranda Cosgrove. Yep. All right. Number 2, The Reason by Hoobastank.
Oh, man.
And 3, My Dinosaur Life by Motion City.
Oh man, how are you gonna do this to me?
I know. But all right, so what's the easiest one to knock out, I guess?
I'd say the easiest one to knock out is Miranda Cosgrove, just
Okay.
because there are a million albums that sound like it, but I just like her particular take on it.
Yeah. It's funny because on tour you just love playing albums that most people like would find like an odd choice to listen to, like Miranda Cosgrove.
Exactly. I like to keep myself entertained. I don't want to listen to like the kind of bands that I'm playing with every night, you know? I want to
Yeah,
change it up and that I get to like enjoy the bands that I'm playing with every single night rather than be like,
absolutely.
"Oh, another pop punk band. Oh, another emo band." Like
For sure.
I get to just watch and be like, "Oh, this band's really cool. I like their tone."
Yeah,
But in the van, it's Miranda Cosgrove, Kesha, like that kind of stuff.
absolutely. You can't go wrong with Kesha.
You can't. TikTok on the clock.
Dude, I remember when that came out in middle school and like I was like, dude, I am in love with Kesha. That was my woman. I think that was like one of my first like crushes, celebrity crushes, like in middle school, was Kesha
Oh
of
yeah.
all people.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Okay, so
And
then there's The Reason by Hoobastank and My Dinosaur Life by Motion City.
man, I don't know. I have a Hoobastank tattoo, but
Which would surprise most people, but the fact that
it's
you were
just
so devoted to The Reason, that's what it's funny. Almost, I think at our album release show when we played, like there's in between songs, like I like said, Stan, why don't you say something to the people? And you just played the riff to The Reason, the
so good.
and then Cam just started and that's a song that we're definitely gonna have to cover sometime.
Oh God, please.
So what are you
If only
thinking?
one survives, I'm gonna say My Dinosaur Life survives.
Just an influential album.
Because yeah, like don't get me wrong, Hoobastank is actually a great band, but Motion City quickly
Hoobastank's still a
became like
band?
I think they just did the 15th anniversary for The Reason.
Did they? So
Yeah.
if when this is all done, if people can ever go out on tour and shows ever happen again, if they are in 100-mile radius, you and me are gonna go see Hoobastank.
Hell yeah. We're going pit tickets, baby.
Pit tickets, front row. We'll camp out the day before.
There
We'll
we
make
fucking go.
we'll make a trip out of it.
I can't wait. We're gonna stank it up.
God, I love that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm just going over my notes. Another thing that we used to do on the podcast, I'm sure we're going to continue, is house show horror stories or even tour horror stories. Do you have a particular one that stands out in your head?
House show horror stories. It was one of my first planned shows on guitar.
Uh-huh.
And we were playing a basement show at our homie Cameron Breen's old house in Beech Grove. And the just, basement show, like nothing is grounded properly. So
Of course.
Cody and I touched each other. Like he dropped his guitar for a song just to front, and I was playing rhythm guitar. And we touched hands, and him holding the mic and me holding my guitar, it shocked us both so hard that my guitar went out of tune. Like, yeah.
What?
I don't understand how it happened, but one of my strings dropped like a whole note, and it was absolutely awful. It was a shock almost as bad as getting tased.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was something else.
Oh my God. That is awful. Like that's what did you continue playing?
Yeah. After a second I was like, and then I just went back to playing. Like my brain reset itself mid-song.
That's what the only thing that I have close to being like injured while playing a show was when Dana and I went on tour. We did a tour together. I think it was last summer, and we were playing a show in Illinois, and I was playing drums for Dana on that tour as well. And I've dislocated like my shoulder a couple times, in my life.
Oof.
And like while I was playing, like it popped out. And so I had to finish like the song with a dislocate, and then I popped it back in between songs. I was like, hey, Dana, remember when I told you how sometimes my shoulder has popped out of the place? Well, it just happened. And they were like, do we need to stop our set? I was like, no, I'll just take 16 Advil as soon as this set is done, and I'll be okay.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
You're a trooper.
That one was certainly interesting, to say the least. That's what, I think it was like the second to last night of tour. No, it was the third last night, something like that. And I was like, you know what? This was a long night. I will drive from Illinois to Indiana so that I can sleep in my own bed tonight and then drive to wherever we need to go to the next night. So.
Valid. Completely valid.
That's rough. Well, Stanley, do you have anything else you'd like to say to the listeners, or if there's anything you want to promote? Or
listen to Floriculture. It's really good.
Absolutely.
I know. I wrote it. Listen to Honey Be Well. When Will the Universe Give Me a Damn Break? It's an absolute ripper. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Bing bong, bing bong.
Who's your friend that likes to play?
Bing bong, bing bong.
God, Bing bong, rest in power.
I think I'm gonna have to take that snippet, that sound bite, and put it on the loop pedal for in between tunings. So that's what plays while we're tuning up in between songs now, is just bing bong, bing bong.
I'm so into that.
Okay, we'll make it happen then.
Oh yeah. Noah, thanks for having me on, bud.
Yo, no, thank you so much. Stan, I love you more than words can describe. And I'm so proud of you for putting this EP out into the world. And I'm just proud to be able to call myself your friend and a bandmate.
Thanks.
So
I love you so big.
I love you. All right. Cool. Well, that's the end of this podcast. So stick around to hopefully watch a video of Stan being tased and to listen to a song off Floriculture. But thanks for listening.
Hey, thanks for watching Gear Over Beer. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. If you'd like to support this show, make sure to subscribe to our Patreon for additional content like the video version of this podcast.